Starting off with the NFC. Game of the weekend, in my opinion. The Rams head to Detroit. Matthew Stafford heads back to Detroit in his first return to Michigan since his departure. Plays against the Lions, led up by Jared Goff. And of course, we know the storyline behind the Rams and Jared Goff. Sean McVay basically just said, hey, you're not good enough to play quarterback in my system. You know, good luck elsewhere. So, Detroit, higher seed in this instance, playing against the Rams. The Rams come in at plus 3.5 road underdogs. As we head into this game, it's the line is going down a little bit, kind of in favor towards the Rams. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Rams plus 3 here soon. This is one of the higher projected point total games, sitting at 51.5. And my goodness, this is supposed to be a shootout, but there are reasons to believe that it may not be. But I hope it is. We'll see if it is. Before I get into any of the numbers and the matchups, Brendan, what's your gut feel about this game? How do you feel about these two quarterbacks going head-to-head against their former teams? And who do you think is going to win?
This is a movie. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a tweet about this potential matchup a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, it's got to be. And you know the script writers, they're in on it. They need it. This is the type of viewing that they need from a playoff game here, and I am just so excited to watch this game. Oh.
Yeah. So, okay. Before I give your take here, before you give your pick, actually, let me give some stuff real quick. Both the Rams and the Lions, they finished in the season as top 10 offenses by total yards, EPA per play, and success rate. That's why this game is totaled so high. Statistically speaking, we have 2 top 10 offenses heading into here. When Stafford has a healthy Kyren Williams, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua in the lineup, in those 8 games, they're 6-2 and average more than 26 points and nearly 400 yards per game. So this will be the 9th game of the season where all 4 of those guys are in the lineup together. Now, flip it over to the Lions. The Lions have faced a little bit of downward momentum. They started off the season really hot. They've certainly still had good games here and there over the past few games. But after their bye week in the second half of the season, the Lions defense was 26th in EPA per play and allowed an average of 25.6 points per game. So we have a trending upward offense versus a trending downward defense. However, I will say Detroit's defense did step back up in the last few games. Hutchinson had a solid game last week, so we've seen him tune it up a little bit, ready to go, and I'm sure they'll show up ready to go too. But just wanted to point that out, how if you are somebody who looks into the trend of how teams are playing heading into this game, you have to note that the Rams offense is trending upward and the Detroit Lions defense is trending downward. Now, that's not to say that I think the Detroit Lions are going to lose, but I wanted to point that out. I thought that was interesting. We look at some actionable stats too. Outside of that, this is really interesting in its own right, because I think this is what leads to a shootout here. Yards per completion versus yards per completion allowed. Detroit is second to last in the league in yards per completion allowed, but 9th in the league on the offensive side of the ball. The Rams, 27th in the league in yards per completion allowed, and they are 3rd in the league on the offensive side of the ball in yards per completion. So it might be a heyday in the passing game. So
I've got a lot to say. I'm sorry.
Hey, let me hear it.
I got a lot to say, man. First of all, I'm gonna murder Dan Campbell. He hurt Portman. They already clinched. They didn't need it, and he's down.
Yep,
he's down, and I'm so mad. Anyway. They can't replace him with James Mitchell. Brock Wright's hurt, I think. James Mitchell is just a guy. He's a jag in there. Like you cannot replace Portman. And it's saying that he might play, but
I don't believe it.
There's no way, dude. There's no way he plays 7 days after that. But anyway, I think that this is going to be an absolutely incredible game, and I think it comes down to coaching. And McVay is such a dog, and I think that they're going to get it done. I think Stafford is going to go back to Detroit, and upset them. This is the best
Yeah.
season they've had in a long time. And Matthew Stafford, their chosen king, is going to come end it for them.
Yeah. Oh gosh, dude.
What a story, man. What a story.
Fitting. I think it's absolutely fitting.
I just Stafford's a better quarterback. I mean, he's older and he's kind of in his down year, but if anybody sees a video of Stafford throwing out his shoulder and then literally like screaming in pain, untimed down, going out there and it was a throwing shoulder, and he still throws
made for the moment.
I mean, that was amazing. He is made for the moment.
He's made for the moment.
Matthew Stafford is such a dog, and they've got a great supporting cast. And whether it's a shootout, whether it's not, I think they cover for sure. But I'm going to go with the Rams winning this game.
Yeah, so for me, I took the Rams at plus 3.5, and I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to take anything sports betting wise where the Rams went outright, but I did take them plus 3.5 in a game where it's going to be a battle of the wits on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to ride with McVay. I almost have to. And so I think that Detroit has the nod on the defensive side of the ball, but I think Rams have the advantage in a game where if it push comes to shove and it all comes down to the X's and O's and the playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, I'm taking Rams and I'm taking McVay. The thing that gets me, and it's such a little thing to take into such consideration, but it's the home version of Jared Goff compared to the away version. And the Lions are at home in the Dome, and we all know how Jared Goff plays at home in the Dome. So that's the only thing that concerns me. And for the roster that the Rams have on the defensive side of the ball, they have overachieved this year. They are sitting at 22nd overall offensive EPA allowed on the defensive side of the ball. If you showed me their roster at the beginning of the season, I would have picked them to been like 28th to 30th, give or take. But they're definitely overachieving. It's still not great, but overachieving nonetheless. On the offensive side of the ball, they're both top 10 teams in terms of EPA per play. So in a battle of the wits, I like the Rams to keep it close here. I took them to cover 3.5. I think I would be shocked if this game, if either team won by greater than 2 possessions. I think it's going to be a one possession game, closing in at the end, some way or another. And some of the betting splits are kind of interesting because a lot of the public is kind of heavy on the Rams. 73% of the tickets are on the Rams, only 27% on the Lions. But I'm not going to really take that with anything now. I just, again, I like the matchup. I like the Rams coming in here. I think the Dome benefits both teams, not just the Lions, especially Matt Stafford and Sean McVay.
It benefits points is what it does.
Cooper Kupp is back healthy. Puka Nacua is playing elite football. He just broke rookie records at the wide receiver position, and Kyren Williams is healthy. One of the best running backs in the league. I will say the Lions finished first overall in rushing DVOA allowed. And Kyren Williams going against this defense is quite the entertaining matchup because there's a chance that the Lions defense can stymie Kyren Williams and potentially force the Rams to air it out. But the thing is even if that's the case, I fully trust the Rams passing game to get it done. They did lose Brian Branch. I'm not sure on his status, but he did go out of the game last week against the Vikings. Mm-hmm. So if they're without their top rookie cornerback, man, it's going to be tough to face 2 of the best receivers in the league.
They did just get C.J. Gardner-Johnson back last week.
True.
But still, Brian Branch has been playing amazing. So I look at great game. Got to be the game of the week. Got to be the game of the week.
And so I'm on the Rams to cover, not necessarily on them to win. I think
in the dub.
If I was forced to pick a winner outright, I think that Detroit would win on a last-minute field goal, but I would be not shocked one bit if the Rams win outright in this game in the return of Matthew Stafford. So this game is going to be awesome. Should be an offensive bout. I would not be surprised, though, if the total goes under. Just based off of the nature of this game and how both teams are going to really try to establish the run in the first half. Of course, Dan Campbell loves the 1-2 punch he has in David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. And of course, Sean McVay loves Kyron Williams. So I can see this being more of a ground and pound. And then if there is a lack of success in the run game, they'll immediately switch over to the passing game, try and go up tempo. And then that's where we'll see some points. So the model has this Detroit -2. So that's why I'm on the Rams to cover, but not necessarily on them to win. They think the Lions win in a close one. It actually has a score of 24-22. So it thinks it's totaled more so at a 46-point total, a full, 6 points less than the 51.5. So that's where I'm kind of getting this under vibe, but it's going to be a fun one nonetheless. I expect, even if there's not a vast amount of points on the scoreboard, I think we'll see some truly amazing offensive play on both sides of the ball. So model Detroit -2 takes the under as well. Not really confident in the under one, but it thinks this game is going to be a close one, and I certainly think it will be too. As we have it on the first one on the board, it's the most exciting game of the week, the biggest storylines. I expect nothing less out of this game other than sheer fireworks.
Yeah, Brendan has Rams ML.
Rams ML. Brendan has Rams ML. So track him, baby.
I do.
Track him.
I'll be tracking him.
Hey, you can sprinkle and have a little fun.